I had a solar installer quote me almost $28,000 for a 5 kilowatt rooftop solar system. Going with an equivalent size plug-in solar system saved me more than $10,000. Insuring yourself against future utility price hikes and gaining some self-sufficiency is now easier than ever. Welcome to There's a Trick for That YouTube channel. We're going to be focusing in on plug-in solar, and most importantly, answering questions from my YouTube community from some of my most recent plug-in solar videos. So the first question from the Easy Plug-in Solar Kit makes traditional solar look ridiculous. Website is clear as mud. Do you get one panel and one microinverter for the 1200 watt solar kit or 4? To officially answer your question, you do get a 1200 watt kit, and that includes 4 solar panels and 4 microinverters. Now I can understand your confusion because down here at the bottom, there's this whole section right here that says package includes, and then they say PV module times 1, microinverter times 1. That definitely needs to be updated. Anyway, the kit they sent me, as well as other YouTube reviewers, is a 4-panel 4 microinverter kit. Next question, do you have any suggestions for cheap universal mounting brackets like the ones that come with this kit that could be used with any panel? Yes, absolutely. That would be this kit on Amazon. Right now it's on super sale. I'm not sure how long this particular price is going to last, but only 60 bucks for 2 panels worth of mounting. And take note, these are the 45-inch adjustable kind. So these are for the large solar panels. You can get smaller sizes down here for different size solar panels. I'd say probably 45 inch is probably the most common. They do make the giant 46 inch if you're really going big, but 45 is probably going to meet your needs. And if you take a look here, it's very, very similar to the Mango Power system. Little hand knobs, wing nuts, a series of holes for adjustability, etc. It's just not black powder coated. Anyway, I'll leave a link for these down in the video description for anyone interested in sourcing their own panels and their own stands. Since you have the separate microinverters, is it possible to split the system into 2 different strings or independent strings of 600 watts each? Then can you plug each string into each leg of your split phase panel to supply 600 watts to each leg? Yes, absolutely. You can totally do that. And I think that's kind of a no-brainer for a lot of you. That way you can get the benefit on both sides of your panel. And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to have a link down in the description to a specific timestamp in my last question and answer video where I addressed how 120 volt power only offsets half of your breaker panel. And by splitting the strings into 2 halves, you can actually offset both halves of your breaker panel. So be sure and check that full explanation out in the description if you don't understand what we're talking about here. The only thing to consider is the AC power cable. There are 2 approaches to this, depending on how DIY you want to be. One would be to cut the OEM cable. So 2 of the microinverters would just feed the plug that comes with the kit, and then you'd have to wire on your second 120 volt plug and run an extension cord from that to your other outlet. Or on Mango Power's website, they do sell the what they call S cable, 130 bucks. That will give you ports for 4 additional panels, maybe room for expansion down the road, but you could just populate 2 of them and plug that into your other side of the panel and call it a done day too. I have solar panels on the roof. Can I supplement them with this? They won't be plugged in all the time. Yes, with an asterisk. So I personally have a rooftop solar system. It's a Solar Edge system. So the asterisk that you need to be aware of is your maximum operating current that your system is permitted to operate within. You just don't want to exceed that. Now, in my case, my Solar Edge inverter can have a maximum output of 7,600 watts. If you take 32 amps, times that by 240, that gives you 7,680 watts. So already this is 80 watts higher than what I could possibly export with this Solar Edge inverter. However, my inverter never outputs its full capacity. I need a few more panels, on my roof to do that. And so adding the additional 1,200 watts of plug-in solar puts me safely under my operating current restriction for my system, and I'm good to go, right? Because it's legal for me to use plug-in solar where I live. I don't have to change my meter or anything because I still have, the net meter from when I got the Solar Edge system installed, and I'm operating within the correct allowable limit. So very easy, very simple, just a little bit of math to make sure that you yourself are, in compliance with your maximum operating current. Next question, the dedicated circuit is a bit of a pain unless you know to do that when house was constructed. How do you meet that requirement? There are a couple ways to do it. I can think of 3 good ways. First and foremost, if you have an outdoor breaker panel like I do, this is not my quote-unquote main panel. However, this is where my service disconnect is and stuff. There are a couple other loads that run off this panel, one of them actually being the backfeed from my solar edge system. But you might be able to see this conduit coming down here. That's actually going down to feeding a dedicated outdoor outlet. So if you've got access to an outdoor panel like I do, it'd be super easy to add a dedicated breaker out here, plop a outlet on the side of your house, and plug your solar into that. Now, option 2 is obviously to pull wire, through walls and in your house, what have you, and stub a outdoor outlet outside. That's what I had to do here. And depending on how far away your breaker panel is, you would determine, how easy it is to make this happen. Just the left of this door, in fact, when this door opens, behind it, when the door swings open, is where my breaker panel is. So I just had to open up a little bit of sheetrock behind this door and across the top, and we could actually fish down this wall. So it's just kind of getting it across the header of this door here that required a little bit of surgery on the sheetrock. Was not that hard to get a dedicated outlet, wired, even though it wasn't in existence before, right? So you can retrofit them. It does involve a little bit of work, a little sheetrock patching, probably a little extra paint after, but nothing too scary. Again, so long as your breaker panel is somewhat close. Of course, you could run a wire far away, but that's going to be more intrusive and damaging to your house. And then the final consideration would be to have an electrician come, and if you already have an outdoor outlet, have him figure out what other outlets it's feeding and see if you can live without those outlets being live. And then have the electrician disconnect all of those outlets that are sharing that circuit and only leaving one of them in functional order. It turns it into a dedicated circuit. You're just losing the function of the other outlets that were shared on that circuit, if that makes sense. That could be one of the least intrusive ways to quote-unquote retrofit your house with a dedicated circuit. With a whole house battery that automatically disconnects from the grid to power my home in an outage, would I even have to worry about the anti-backfeed? Yes, you do, and kind of in a big way. So I have a setup like you're talking about. I've got the EG4 12000 XP and this nice battery backup. Here's the issue though. If you have something equivalent to this, which sounds like you do, your load from this large inverter is going to be going to a breaker panel somewhere that is going to be being fed by this plug-in solar kit. Well, the plug-in solar kit has no way of differentiating between the power output of your inverter and that of the grid. So when your inverter takes over, the plug-in solar is going to continue to function. Here's the problem. If by chance that were to backfeed, your inverter is not built to accept power flowing backwards into it, right? It's only built to flow out. And so something's going to blow up. I have a suspicion that the inverter in your power backup solution will probably be the one that's damaged, not the plug-in solar system. That's just a guess though. So if you have a system like this, I have a much cheaper and better solution for you than the plug-in solar, because you've already got batteries and a big inverter that will handle your house. So let that do all the heavy lifting. Go online here and pick up just some extra solar panels. And then while you're online, come pick up just one of these small MPPT solar charge controllers and simply tie that charge controller into your batteries. So now that charge controller is going to dump in the equivalent of what you'd get with your plug-in solar system, and even more if you buy the size charge controller I was showing there on Amazon, right? And then let that power get fed out by your large inverter, and you're done. And you're reaping the same benefits without running the risk of blowing something up. Of course, if it's like the 12000 XP that can accept up to 24,000 watts of solar, maybe you've only got 12,000 watts of solar or something like that. So add an extra 1200, 1500, 2000 watts of solar to the built-in MPPT charge controllers on the big inverter that you already have, and now you're out the cost of maybe some cable and some extra solar panels while still reaping the same benefit. So I don't think plug-in solar is a good combination with these units if they're going to be on all the time. I think it's better to just add charging capacity to the system you already have and have spent good money on. I'm just wondering if I really do need to submit a work order and get a different smart meter, and is that going to change my electricity rates? The answer is it depends on where you live. So I live in the great state of Utah, and as I said earlier, I already have a grid-tied solar system on my house. But let's pretend I didn't have it. In the state of Utah, the power company is supposed to come out and replace your meter with a smart meter that can detect, power as it flows both directions. The reason you want to do that, though, in a state that's already legalized this, is a lot of the standard meters that electric companies will have installed, they can't detect the difference between power going through them towards your house from the grid or power coming from your house out to the grid. And so what could possibly happen is you get charged for power that you've generated as it goes back out to the grid. The meter is just going to count that as power that has flowed through it, and you get charged for it. So that's the one thing you got to be careful of. And I know that applies here where I live in the state of Utah. And so that's why you need to have the meter that basically won't charge you for any power that goes back to the grid. Obviously, you're gifting free power to the grid, but at least you're not going to pay money by doing that, as opposed to keeping your normal meter and having to pay for any power you export to the grid. Because all of a sudden that defeats the whole purpose of doing plug-in solar, to save on your electric bill if it's costing you more, right? And then the second part of the question, is it going to affect your electric bill? In the state of Utah, no. Like I said, the electric company will come out, change the meter for free. Your electric bill stays the same. You actually just pay less because now you're generating power from your plug-in solar system. But I have heard in other states that as soon as you get kind of that smart meter installed, it automatically bumps you into the tier on the power company's list as someone that gets, solar pricing treatment. And so now you have to pay, an extra big flat fee every month or something to be connected to the grid, because electric companies want to get their money somehow. Hopefully your state law prohibits them from doing anything like that for the small plug-in solar kit. But again, that's, a state-by-state, utility-by-utility basis. There's still a lot of additional questions that we have yet to cover. So certainly let me know if you want me to keep going with yet one more iteration of these question and answer videos specifically targeted to this plug-in solar setup. And of course, leave questions, comments in this video because as you saw, I'll draw from these question and answer video comments as well. Don't forget to take advantage of all my links that I have in the descriptions of my video. A place where you can submit a guaranteed to be answered question by me, a place to book a one-on-one video consultation, as well as everyone's favorite feature these days, my custom YouTube channel search engine, something that YouTube won't let you do. That's where you can type in plug-in solar and it's going to surface every video where I talk about that in either the description, the title, or most importantly, the transcription of the video. And you can jump to specific timestamp or just click on the thumbnail and watch the video from the start. Super, super powerful for you to be able to find information that you're curious about that I've potentially have already addressed in earlier videos. So yeah, be sure and take advantage of all of these resources I've got for you in the description. And exciting news, you guys. Since I got my kit, Mango Power is automatically including the anti-backflow smart gateway with all their kits. That wasn't a thing when I got mine early on. Anyway, I have mine in my possession now and we'll be testing with that. And that's going to open the door to a lot of other possibilities and other places that currently plug-in solar may not be a good fit for. So be excited for that video that'll be coming out here in a couple of weeks. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hype on your way out. All of you stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.